Now let's go ahead and continue with more Higurashi.
ケンタくん人形？ああ、そりゃあレナのツボだわな。
レナがサトコやリカちゃんをお持ち帰りしたくなるのはわかる。だがケンタくん人形だけは理解できないぞ。あんなメガネ親父のどこがいいんだ。
そりゃあレナに直接聞けばいいじゃん。どうせだって可愛いんだもんしか言わないだろうけどさ。
レナはよくあそこ工事現場のとこへ宝探しに行くのか？
ちょくちょく見に行くって言ってましたです。
しかし年頃の女の子がゴミあさりね。
レナが楽しいならいいんだと思いますです。
あそこはなんだよ？ダムの工事現場だったのか？
It had been bugging me since yesterday, like an itch I couldn't scratch.
何年か前に中止になっちゃったけどね。
みんなで力を合わせて戦いましたです。
Hearing an ominous word like thought come from Rika-chan's mouth startled me.
そうそう。何しろとんでもない話だったんだよ。ひなみ沢が丸ごとダム湖に沈むことに一方的になってさ。
So I'm only able to be here because the protest succeeded.
ごめんね。待たせちゃったかな。申し訳ありませんわね、ケイチさん。お化粧直しに時間をかけちゃいまして。
サトコ、便所には溜めてから行け。一気に出せて楽で早いぞ。
花も恥じらう乙女になんて口の利き方。
What the fuck, KG? Who was she calling a maiden? If Satoko really was a maiden, she wouldn't have reacted like that. The usual hijinks ensued. Now, before I do forget, a friend of mine was like, hey, you should check out the Curse of the Colonel, which was something that I didn't know about. So I'll quickly get up like the Wikipedia entry on this, just so that you guys like can see this. But actually, hold on. Let me do it like this. Hi. Alright, like this. So here's the Curse of the Colonel. If you have no idea what this is, I'll quickly read off a bit of the entry. But the Curse of the Colonel, Kaneru Sandashi no Nori, is a 1985 Japanese urban legend. According to the legend, a sports curse was placed on the Japanese Hanshin Tigers baseball team by the ghost of the KFC founder and mascot, Colonel Sanders. The curse was said to be placed on the team because of the Colonel's anger over treatment of one of his storefront statues. If you recall, at least back in the day, or at least in Japan, I don't remember if they do this in America, but Colonel Sanders has statues of himself outside of KFCs. And I know they do that for sure in Japan. I don't know if they got rid of those eventually. The curse was said to be placed on the team because of the Colonel's anger over treatment of one of his storefront statues, which was thrown into the Dotonbori River by Hanshin fans before their team's 1985 Central League pennant. As is common with sports curses, the Curse of the Colonel was used to explain the team's lack of success in the subsequent years. Some fans believe that the team would never win another Japan series until the statue was recovered. They appeared in the Japan series 3 more times and lost in 2003, 2005, and 2014 before winning in 2023. Comparisons are often made between the Hanshin Tigers and the Boston Red Sox, who were said to be under the curse of the Bambino, the curse of the Bambino, until they won the World Series in 2004. The curse of the Colonel has also been used as a bogeyman to treat those who would divulge the KFC recipe. And there's the statue following its 2009 recovery from the river. That's fucking funny. But alright, so that's the Curse of the Colonel, before I forget. Alright.
Sateto.
Oh. Also, yeah, Bo and Skulls, thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Oh,
今日は快速に乗っ取り部員の諸君に是非を問いたい。彼前原圭一君を新たな部員として我らの部活動に加えたいのだがいかがだろうか。
レナは異議なーし。貧民風情が私の相手を務められるかしら。僕も聡子も賛成しますですよ。
the three that Mion had queried voiced their approval.
全会一致。おめでとう前原圭一君。君に栄えある我が部への入部試験を許可する。
Hey.
順を追って説明しろ。俺はまだ入るとは言ってないぞ。何の部活だ？
我が部はだな。複雑化する社会に対応するため活動ごとに提案されるさまざまな条件下、時には準教、あるいは逆境からいかにして。
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。
I'm pretty weak and she fucking like sucker punched Mi-chan yesterday, but you know, covering a distance of what 6 feet in a matter of a second to then knock her to the fucking ground with a left hook.
レナさんは甘えてますわ。弱い者は食い尽くされるのが世の常なのでございますわよ。
Oh? So we know who's chaos aligned? This is starting to sound a bit sketchy. So what kind of club was it?
つまりみんなでゲームして遊ぶ部活なのです。
Nika-chan was the only one to answer my question with a pertinent response. So basically, this club put Mion's hobby of collecting games to use. By playing the various games that Mion had hoarded every day, it seemed that, depending on the day, there were prizes for the winner or a penalty for the person who finished in last place. So a batsu game.
先に断っとくけど、ままごと遊びみたいなレベルじゃないからね。一生いっぱいに命がかかってるくらい本気でかかった方がいいよ。
楽しくやれればいいじゃないか。そう凄むなよ。
快速第一条、狙うのは1位のみ。遊びだからなんていういい加減なプレーは許さない。
快速第2条、そのためにはあらゆる努力をすることが義務付けられておりますのよ。
The way Satoko said it, it sounded like she was saying use any means necessary.
もちろん僕も頑張りますです。レナも弱いけどね、精一杯頑張ってるの。
Oh, I guess she meant pretty weak at games, not like physically. I knew what they were trying to say. In a game where everybody is aiming for the top, it's rather unsportsmanlike to play just for fun.
よし、俺も本気でやってやるぜ。
With that, I was finally ready for the rite of initiation, my baptism into the club.
ケイちゃんに一応忠告ね。レナも結構えげつないからね。
This initiation looks like it's gonna be rough. Mion began fishing around in the student lockers in the back of the room. They have the games here at school? Well, it's club equipment, so I guess that's fine.
難しいゲームはケイちゃんだけに不利だからね。今日は誰にでもわかるゲームにしよう。スタンダードにトランプのジジ抜きはどう？
よし、受けてやるぜ。
やっぱり罰ゲームがないと燃えないよね。今回はビリに顔面落書きの剣。どう？
油性じゃないよね。油性じゃないよね。
Permanent? She wants to draw on our faces with permanent marker?
上等でございますわ。
Satoko cheered the idea on. She didn't even flinch at the thought of such a severe penalty. It seemed like she was raring to go. If it's gonna be like this, then I can't lose either.
じゃあカード切ってみんなに配るね。
She's gonna be counting cards like a madman, I bet. Old Bachelor is pretty much the same as Old Maid. There's only one difference. There's no Joker. In its place, one card is pulled out at the start, meaning there will be one card without a match left over at the end. You don't know which card will end up being the Joker. It's a pretty thrilling game.
じゃあ1枚抜くね。
Mion took out one card and left it face down on the table. Everybody stared at the card intently.
ま、終盤になればおのずとわかるし。最初はどうしようもないよな。
But the rest of them were very serious. They didn't seem as relaxed as I was. They compared their cards to the one face down, all the while gauging each other's reactions. It was as if they could see what the face down card was. No, it couldn't be.
このトランプ、結構傷物だろ？まさか、みんなにはその傷で、そこに伏せたカードが分かってる？
快速第2条ですわ。圭一さんも勝つために最善の努力をなさいませ。いくつかのカードは特徴的だから圭一くんにもすぐ覚えられるよ。
She said that so matter-of-factly.
上等だぜ。この程度でハンデになると思うなよ。
I lashed out angrily, but it was rather obvious I was at a disadvantage. After all, they'd gone so far as to memorize the wear and tear for each individual card. This wasn't a simple game of Old Bachelor. If this was a test, then they were playing with the answer sheet in front of them. Bring it. I'll take advantage of your carelessness and beat you at your own game. That baseless confidence would soon be crushed.
ケイちゃんの手札を右から言うぜ。3、4、9、ジャック、クイーン。
ちなみにジジはダイヤの J なのです。どうカードを入れ替えたって見え見えですわ。上がりですな。
I thought I was prepared, but for it to be this brutal was just overwhelming.
鬼だ。こいつらは鬼だ。レナは鬼じゃないよな。
ごめんね圭一くん。こっちがハートの3だよね。あがり。
Not even a hint of mercy. Rena, even Rika-chan. Oh no. These club activities weren't to be trifled with. An alumnus of this club would definitely survive in the cruelest of situations. If our entire class had self-detonating collars strapped to their necks and were dropped into a death match on a deserted island, these guys would probably take it to like fish to water. Or take to it like fish to water. I can already picture their joy as they hunt down each of their classmates.
ポイントは限定制ね。着順がそのままマイナス点。トータルで一番少ない人が優勝。
では圭一はビリなので5です。
There's already a 5 marked down on my scoreboard. Also, this music is really good.
やっぱりさ、綺麗なトランプでやらないと圭一くんに不公平だよ。
いいのいいの。ケイちゃんだって男だし。これくらいの逆境は跳ね返せるよね。
貧民風情は逃げ帰って涙で枕を濡らすのがお似合いでございますことよ。
A petite hand laid itself on top of my head, which was trembling from uncontainable frustration. It was Rika-chan's.
ファイト、おーです。
She was frustrated. Oh god. Thanks to Rika-chan's words of encouragement, I was able to calm down. You need to be calm, especially when you're cornered. That's the power I could muster during this crisis. Think clearly, Keiichi Maebara. Take your time and look at the cards carefully. It's just as Rena said, several of the cards have their own distinct markings, making them stand out. Memorizing them should be pretty simple. Think about what you can do in this situation. Try everything in your power to improve your chances of victory.
うわ、うまいよケイチ君、その調子。
I covered the uniquely marked cards with my hand, or other cards, arranging them in such a way that they couldn't be seen.
角が割れているのは5だったはずです。上がりましたです。
I couldn't let any of those precious hints slip by me. All information is a weapon. Then it was my turn. Sadako fanned out her cards for me.
欲しいのは7なんだが、これかな。
さてどうかしら。聞いてみないとわかりませんことよ。
There was a bit of dismay in her expression, like she doesn't want it taken. That kind of expression. I won't let that momentary lapse slip by me.
見えた、これだ。
Got it. 7 of spades. A cheer of ooh rang out.
なんですって7は一番わかりにくいはずですのに。
It wasn't from memorizing the markings. Those slight changes in their expressions as I was selecting a card were enough.
ほらケイちゃん隠さない。この傷が確かダイヤの2だったよね。あれ？
She was startled by her own misread. Of course, everyone else was too.
あ、みーちゃんがカード間違えるなんて珍しいね。
違う。ケイちゃん、あんたまさか。
They told them apart by different marks. That mark was a nail scratch. So I put a new one on it.
ダイヤの2を偽装したというですの？味な真似をするでございますわ。ケイチ、一矢報いましたです。
And then claps all around.
やったねケイチ君。大前線だよ。
Having defeated the Forerunner, Mion, my brilliant battle left me ecstatic. But by total points, it was already set in stone that Mion would win and I would finish last. I laughed haughtily, selecting the tone of my voice carefully to get on Mion's nerves.
まあビリは確定だけどさ、最後にミオンから1本取れたから大満足かな。
That's like the most annoying laugh ever. That should be the proverbial slap in the face to Mion. Was at the top already and ensured victory.
この回、仮にケイちゃんが1着になってもトータルビリが確定するんだけど、
当たり前だ。
一騎打ちしようよ。ワンチャンス。勝てたらケイちゃん1位で私ビリの大逆転。なんてどう？乗るでしょ？
She fell for it. A chance for an upset that wouldn't be possible without goading her into it.
ワンチャンスだと？ルールを説明しろ。
Mio discarded 2 cards from her hand and replaced one with the Joker card that was on the table, then shuffled the resulting hand behind her back.
右手のカードと左手のカード。どっちがジョーカーか当てたらケイちゃんの勝ち。
今後ろに回した時ジョーカーを抜いたってことはないだろうな。
ケイちゃんが負けたら反対の手のカードも公開するよ。それなら OK でしょ。
The other 3 gulped nervously at this unexpected turn of events.
よし、乗ってやる。
Mion grasped 1 card in each hand and thrust them out at me. First, I needed to inspect them closely. The card on the right had no distinguishing marks. I couldn't tell which one it was.
どっちだろう。ケイチ君、慎重にね。
ああ、もちろんだぜ。逆転の大チャンスだ。
Looking closely at the card on the left, I saw a little wear. It wasn't the one I hadn't seen before.
あのカードは。
I didn't let that bit from Satoko slip by me. Mion clucked her tongue. I didn't recognize the mark on the left card from the small number that I had memorized. God, I woke up a while ago, so I gotta get better at reading for a bit. Like, I gotta get warmed up, I guess. I didn't know what the left card was, but I could tell from Satoko's reaction that the card had already appeared during the game. Since it had already appeared before, it meant that it definitely wasn't the Joker.
ケイちゃんは右のカードを疑ってる？じゃあ右にする？右？
The left card definitely wasn't the Joker. If I could trust that theory, then I should have been able to declare that the card on the right was the Joker. Even without Mion's taunting, the one on the right was the most suspicious. But wasn't it a bit too rash to decide based solely on Satoko's reaction? More carefully... Ah, I remember now. That mark, the left card, no doubt about it. The 7 of clubs.
きっとクローバーの7だね。
I've won. The card on the left was the 7 of clubs. So that meant that the card on the right was the Joker. And then, just before my hand touched the right card, I froze.
さすがミオンだよ。
So before we continue, what do you guys think the card is? Left or right? Try to think of that in the back of your mind for a bit before it gets revealed. There was a wave of murmurs amongst the onlookers at my sudden halt, right before I confirmed the right card was the Joker.
ケイイチさんは何を言ってるのでございましょう。だって左 C です。
へえ。ケイちゃんはどうして右がジョーカーじゃないって確信できるの？
Mion let loose an unexpected question. Everyone else was baffled.
右のカードが何かは俺にもわからないさ。だが左のカードがクローバーの7だってことだけはわかる。
じゃあ残る右のカードがジョーカーなのじゃありませんこと？必ず左右どっちかがジョーカーという約束でしょ？
ああ、左右のどっちかにジョーカーがあるのは本当だろうな。
ケイイチは勘がいいです。リカちゃん、それってどういう？
つまりさ、
You ready?
クローバーの7はさっき俺がサトコのスペードの7と合わせて捨てたカードなんだよ。
Everyone's attention snapped to the discarded pile at the same time. The truth of the matter couldn't be discerned from that sloppy pile.
つまりミオンは捨て札を1枚拾って左のカードに重ねている。つまり
そうか、わかった。左のカードをクローバーの7に見せかけているんだね。
It was the first time since the start of the match that a shadow ran across Mion's expression, and I didn't let that slip by. Then, with a grand flourish, I declared it loudly.
ジョーカーは左手だ
It was an intense moment. That 1 second felt like an eternity for everyone there. Breaking that silence, the first one to speak was Mion.
初代部長として私も様々なプレイングを見てきたけど、ケイちゃん、あんたはベストだよ。ベストオブザベストオブザベスト。
That was probably the greatest compliment Mion could give. Mion accepted her defeat, dropping the cards from both hands. My comeback victory. Rika-chan placed her hand on my head and began petting it, congratulating me on my victory.
リカちゃんが？
Rena and Satoko gaped? Yeah, I guess gaped. So Rena and Satoko gaped at us, as if they had seen a ghost.
なんだよレナ。別に俺はインチキしてないだろ。正々堂々と。
リカは慰めるときにしか頭を撫でませんの。
Huh? It's the meaning of... At that moment, Rena let out a small shriek.
ケイチくん、こんなことって。
ケイちゃんならさ、ここまで読んでくれると思ってたよ。
Everyone froze. No, it was just me.
賭けだった。ケイちゃんがおてんばさんの早とちりだったなら、負けてたのは私だった。
It was the answer everyone was certain about. Mion picked up the card in front of... picked up the card from the losing
ケイ
hand.
ちゃんはさ、この負けを誇っていいよ。
She turned it around. That was the card that proclaimed the victor of this duel. The card under the 7 of clubs. Unbelievable. It was the 2 of diamonds. It was a setup behind the setup. Yeah. If I just picked the right one without reading so deeply into
部
it.
長、園崎美音の名において、前原圭一、あんたの我が部への入部を許可する。
Yeah, so in reality, it wasn't that deep. As I slumped to my knees, dazed, everybody let out a round of applause for the excellent effort I gave despite my defeat.
これにて決着。本日の優勝は私、園崎美音。栄えあるビリは前原圭一。
Everyone made a commotion, applauding cheerfully. I felt I was bested, but I was so soundly beaten that it unexpectedly felt rather refreshing.
みーちゃんが後ろ手で細工した時、またやるんだって思ってドキドキしちゃった。ケイチさんが正解に触れる直前で止まった時にはかかったって思いましたわ。見事に引っかかってくれましたです。
Huh? Hey, wait. All of them knew from the start and still got excited so earnestly?
楽しくなるようにみんなで盛り上げましたですよ。
お前らみんな鬼だ人手なし
さて、ケイちゃんに罰ゲームだね。今日は部活の初日だしね。ソフトに行こうかね。
ソフトに？
いきなり登校拒否になられちゃ困るし。
The other 3 members held down my arms and shoulders firmly. Mion approached, licking her lips. Her right hand went to pull something out of her pocket. That's a felt tip marker, and it's a giant permanent one.
さて、行くよ。
She took the cap off the marker and brought it slowly up to my face while I was immobilized.
やめろ
I let out my death throes. That was pretty cute. That really was a cute chapter. Or a little section of the chapter. As soon as the club activities were finished, Rena flew off. Probably so she could dig out that cute Colonel Sanders that she wasn't able to take home yesterday. So today it was just Mion and me walking home together. Mion and I walking home together. A rather rare occurrence.
宝の山か。捨ててる連中もまさかレナに感謝されてるとは夢にも思わないだろうね。
Mountain of treasure, meaning that damn construction site from before. Oh right, Mion would probably tell me. That murder by dismemberment that seemed to have happened here.
あそこさ、ダムの工事現場。なんかあったんだろ昔。
そりゃあったよ、戦いが。座り込みやったりデモをやったり。
It was a bit different from what I wanted to hear, but I decided I'd listen just the
自
same.
分たちの土地がダム湖に沈むんだもんな。 俺だって戦うだろうな。
役人どもは本当に一方的だった。偉そうで威張ってた。金で解決できないと悟ると、あらゆる嫌がらせをしてきたんだよ。いやらしい奴らだった。
Mion spoke excitedly, as if the whole thing was happening right in front of her.
よく勝てたな。相手は国だろ。
村長や村の有力者たちがね、方々に陳情した。東京にも行ったし、いろんな政治家に根回しもした。そうしてるうちに計画は撤回されたんだよ。私たちの完全勝利だった。
暴力沙汰とかにはならなかったのか？傷害事件とか殺人。
なかった。
She promptly cut me off, the same as Rena had. Her words signaled the end of discussion. Tomitake-san said one arm wasn't found in the incident. I thought that a murder by dismemberment had occurred, but I guess I was wrong. My curiosity unsated, I sighed dejectedly inside.
じゃあね、また明日ね。ケイちゃんそれ、うちに帰るまで消しちゃダメだからね。
わかってるよ。消さねえよ。
Mion held back her laughter while stealing glances at my face. I wonder what kind of nasty doodles they drew. Oh god. I don't think I can say that out loud. Damn you, Mion. You shall rue this day. If our roles are ever reversed, I'm going to go all out. All over your face so you won't be able to take it off. Even with a scouring pad. Upon arriving home, I ran straight into my mom, embarrassing myself yet again. The mood I'd come home to was already on edge. It's not an uncommon thing in our family. Whenever Dad can't come up with a good idea, it always ends up like this. He stomps around the house with his arms crossed. Mom whispered into my ear,
おかえりケイチ。お父さん大変そうだからそっとしてあげてね。
またアイデアに詰まったわけ？
今回は締め切りが重なったからね。お父さん充電期間がないと大変だから。
Dad's paintings fed our entire family. If he runs out of ideas, then it's the end of the Mayabaras. We've never gone hungry before. Could it be that my dad is a master painter?
家の中をうろうろしないで、表に散歩でも行った方がアイデアが出るんじゃねえの？
今回は生活空間がテーマだから、お父さんこの家をモチーフにしたいみたい。
That's quite a bothersome motif.
エイジ、部屋の中を少しは片付けなさい。
ごめん。後で片付けるよ。
Come on, please don't use my room as the motif.
ケイチ、お夕飯までまだ時間があるから、表でも散歩してらっしゃい。
Uh-oh. Dad's moods are only temporary. As soon as he gets an idea, his mood improves and he starts humming. Until then, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just go take a walk so I don't aggravate him further.
じゃあそうするかな。
Said I was gonna take a walk, but I didn't have any particular destination in mind. Have you cleaned your face yet, by the way, dude? Like, you got home, you were supposed to wash your face. Like, imagine you get home, your dad is pissed off, right? And it's the 80s, so dads being pissed off is like 6 times as worse as they are now. You've got like cocks on your face written in permanent marker. And probably some slurs as well. And your mom is just like, welcome home, your dad's kind of crazy right now, you should probably get the fuck out. And instead of you doing, like, going to your bathroom, washing your face, and then freaking out after reading all the stuff that's written on it, you're just like, I'm gonna go for a walk, and I'm just gonna clear my head and let my dad, like, calm down. Yeah, exactly. Dad has a skill issue and cute girls are bullying me. I just needed to kill some time. I got on my bike and pondered where to go. I could just go read at the bookstore, but it would take about an hour by bike to get to town. It would be dark by the time I got back, so I didn't want to go unless I had to. The roads at night here in Hinamizawa creep me out. If Mion or Satoko ever found out about that. I smiled wryly. Oh yeah. Venom was probably still at the Mountain of Treasure, the dam construction site. The excavation of Colonel Sanders was probably taking her a while. It wouldn't be so bad to have her owe me one.
次の部活の時に恩返ししてもらえるかもしれないしな。
With a little bit of self-interest in mind, I set off towards the dam construction site. Tomitake-san might be there as well. The only person with information about the incident that both Rena and Mion denied knowing anything about. If I met him again, I'd like to ask him for more details. To ask, was there really a dismemberment here in Hinamizawa? That was my real intention. I spotted Rena struggling up on the slope of the garbage pile. It looked like Colonel Sanders was lodged in there pretty firmly. It didn't look like Rena would be able to excavate it by herself. Realizing that Tomitake-san wasn't around, I began climbing down the slope unsteadily.
Yo, Rena. 精が出ますな。
ケイチくん。どうしたのこんなところへ。
A place like this, huh? I see. She was aware of it at least.
事故発生の緊急通報を受け参上しました。負傷者はどこでありますか？
事故って、
健太くん人形がゴミ山に生き埋めになっているとの通報でしたが。
なんだ、びっくりした。
That scared you, huh?
ケ
Okay.
イチくん脅かさないでよ。
冗談だよ。レナが一人で困ってるだろうなって思ってさ。手伝い。
レナのために。
Well, I filled my quota for today. If I don't see Rena blush at least once a day, then I'm not getting my daily required nutritional intake. Same. If I don't get my daily dopamine, I fucking go nuts.
冗談だよ。こっちまで恥ずかしくなるだろ
冗談ってどこからだろう。
I just ignored her bewilderment.
う。俺、どいた。で、どこだよ、健太くんは。
あ、ごめん。ほら、この隙間から見える？
う。こりゃ本当に生き埋めだな。
The Colonel Sanders was sideways, surrounded by boards and other construction materials, like they were caging him inside. According to Rena, it wasn't like this yesterday. It seems as though another illegal dumper came yesterday, dumped again, and now he's buried like this.
この山を一人でどけるつもりだったのか？その細い腕で。
There's no way she'd be able to do that with her slender arms.
でも、健太くん人形可愛いんだもん。お店の健太くんには鎖がついてるけど、これならお持ち帰りできる。
How? If Rena gave up on this Colonel Sanders, she'd probably start devising a plan to steal the one in front of the store. As Rena's guardian, I won't allow her to sully her hands with crime. My
どいて
God.
ろよ。俺がやる。
Rena blushed again, but this time I left it alone. The pile was enormous. Also, the more days we wasted, the more likely another illegal dumping would occur. If it got buried any deeper, there would be nothing that could be done.
ケイチくん、レナも手伝えるよ。手伝わせて。
帰って邪魔になるから下がってろって。よいしょー。
So, pulling out scraps, bending them, and tossing them aside, I quickly became covered in sweat and dust. Flying objects drew beautiful arcs across the twilight sky, one after another. Lumber, timber, plywood. Damn it! No matter how much I threw out there was still more. Even though I could see the Colonel Sanders right there. After grandstanding like that in front of Rena, I felt frantic because of how little I had progressed.
本気でやるなら斧とかノコギリとかがいるかもしれねえな。
もういいよケイチくん。すごい汗だよ。そんな無理しなくてもいいよ。
レナのためにやってるだけだ。気にするな。
Rena began sputtering and turning beet red. Whoops. I meant to say I was trying my best so as to keep her from becoming a criminal. Oh well.
さすがに休憩。こいつは手強いぜ。
I sprawled on my back and over the grassy slope.
ごめんね、ごめんね。すごい汗だく。
Rena patted her handkerchief against my forehead. It felt pretty nice.
あのさ、ちょっとここで休んでてね。私、家近いから。麦茶とか持ってきてあげるね。
Leaving the handkerchief over my forehead, Rena took off running. The cries of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. After I was certain that Rena was gone, I picked myself up and headed towards what I discovered earlier. That was a garbage pile of magazines and newspapers bound up in twine. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it was around here. There it was. There were bound stacks of not-so-reputable tabloids. They were stacked chronologically, going back quite a few years. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it was just as Tomitake-san said, then undoubtedly there would be mention of the murder. These are troubled times. There is no end to these sickening incidents. There's a large part of society drawn in by these incidents as well. So it had to be recorded, somewhere. I unfastened the packages and opened the rain-soaked packages carefully. It's a double negative. Oh, no. I unfastened the packages and opened the rain-soaked pages carefully, looking over the table of contents. Not here. Next one. Not here. Next one. It was hard to search, since I didn't know when it happened. Didn't we learn it was like 79? I didn't know who the perpetrator or the victim was either. Oh no, we didn't. We got the hint of it, but Keiichi doesn't know yet. By hint, I mean the little section before the chapter. I only knew it had happened here. I looked up every so often, checking to see if Rena had come back or not. I wouldn't want her to see me gawking at a dirty magazine, but it wasn't just that. Both Rena and Mion said they didn't know. But it had happened, without a doubt. As long as Tomitake-san wasn't lying, then if both Rena and Mion... yeah, there it was. If they had just said that, then I wouldn't have gotten so hung up on it. Oh, yeah, there was. Jesus, fuck, I'm reading like garbage tonight. An incident that neither Rena nor Mion wished to talk about. Trying to uncover it after they tried to conceal it out of good intentions. That made me feel like I was acting against my friends. Hinamizawa Dam worker lynching. Murder by dismemberment. Here it is. The featured article was in the back, and it seemed that there was a photograph in the colored pages at the front. The pages of the featured article were stuck together and weren't easy to open. Rena could return at any moment. Feeling rushed, I gave up and opened the photograph page. The police investigators were carrying a body bag, and newspaper reporters were all bathing it in camera flashes. The image was blurry and hard to understand, but I could definitely make out the headlines. A tragic nightmare at the Hinamizawa construction site. Lynching and murder dismemberment. The victim was the site foreman. Sorry. The victim was the site foreman. He had assaulted his assailants daily with an explosive backlash from his daily actions. It was a horrible image to see the site foreman as it happened. It really did happen. It seemed the details were on the next page. I turned the page without pausing. On it was, the assailants butchered the victim's body with hatchets and pickaxes. They used an axe to split the cadaver into 6 pieces: the head, arms, legs, and torso. I could understand just from the headline that it was just too terrible. An incident. Normally, a lynching is just assault. Normally, a lynching is just assault and murder, right? Dismemberment with hatchets and pickaxes. That wasn't a lynching. It was a merciless killing to the letter. A brutal murder. Done by a group of people. With hatchets. With pickaxes. With a hatchet. What's this game about? So this is just a visual novel for a series. Once again, I talked about it at the start of the stream, but it's Higurashi when they cry, right? Higurashis are the cicadas. But essentially, this is just a visual novel telling a story about a guy who moved to the mountains from the city. And it just so happens that, well, there was a murder in the town, and no one wants to talk about it. And we're kind of like supposed to try to figure out who did it. By figure it out, I mean you reading along and then figuring out what happens with the clues that you're given throughout the game. And that's about it. So it's just a story that you can just enjoy. Rena dropped the hatchet she was holding onto the grass after being startled by my voice.
ケイチくんね、さっきほら斧とかがあると便利だって言ったじゃない。それでね、レナ、物置からちゃんとナタ持ってきたんだよ。
You look too far into it, Keiichi-kun. You're fucking next. Rena fluttered her arms in a panic, continuing to explain and apologize. It seemed I'd been glaring at her pretty intensely.
ごめん。ちょっとオーバーに驚きすぎたかな。
こっちこそごめんね。ごめんね。
Night was drawing close. I was pretty worn out, and it wouldn't hurt to do the rest tomorrow.
最後の針はそのナタじゃないと壊せそうにない。せっかく持ってきてくれたんだし、明日借りるよ。な。
何しょんぼりしてるんだよ。明日には健太くんが掘り出せるんだぜ。
そうだよね。早く健太くんをお持ち帰りしたい。
We both knew that it was useless to apologize any more than that. I quenched my thirst with the barley tea Rena brought and wiped off the sweat that had now gone cold. We took the path to head home. I felt quite guilty about the tabloid wrapped up in my jacket. Rena will remember that. Okay, so we got new hints, or tips, I guess. Let's go ahead and view them real quick. So, because last time we got the others. So, the Hinamezawa Dam Project and the Special Tabloid Report. So let's read these real quick, and then we'll do one more chapter, and then read the new hints that we get. So, with the dam first. Or the Dam Project. October 1975. In accordance with the Prime Minister's Bulletin number, Hinamizawa's Electrical Development Master Plan was announced. The vast scope of the project Hinamizawa Dam was to have an incredibly heavy impact on the village of Hinamizawa. The area to be flooded by the Hinamizawa Dam would include the 5 areas of Hinamizawa: Takatsuto, Kyotsu, Matsumoto, and Yagochi. The submerged area would include 291 houses, population 1,251, one elementary school, one middle school, one post office, one agricultural cooperative, one forestry department lumberyard, 5 shrines, 2 temples, and 1 fishery. All of these communal, cultural, agricultural areas and places of worship were to be indefinitely submerged at the bottom of the artificial lake basin. Forsaking the hundreds of years our ancestors poured their blood, and sweat into this fertile, resource-rich land was just too painful to bear. All the residents having homes that were to be submerged banded together and created the Onikakushi Guardians. The dam project was halted and petitions to alter the plan were circulated. Citizens sought peaceful negotiations, but the government and its puppet company openly refused. It's Honda, isn't it? Honda? Yeah, Honda refused. Performing unspeakable, heinous acts, they quashed the democratic actions of the villagers. But the villagers did not falter. Instead, they banded together even more closely and steeled their resolve to protect their homes to the death. The continuation of that frightening Hinamizawa Dam construction project is still stalled as of today. The villagers understand that the stalling was caused by sublime power through unity, and they understand that this fearsome plan has not yet been fully withdrawn. The Onikakushi Guardians have been dissolved after it did its part, but the feelings of unity it garnered had not yet been extinguished. As long as that passion resides in the hearts of the residents, they'll be able to confront whomever next decides to sink their homes into a lake basin. Onikakushi Guardians Committee Chairman Kichiro Kimiyoshi. Huh. Neat. Tsugi. Nightmare befalls the Hinamizawa Dam. Lynching and murder dismemberment. On X day of X month in X prefecture, at the Hinamizawa Dam construction worksite in Shishibone City, a bone-chilling, gruesome murder dismemberment. Even though this case has shocked the archipelago, the police will give no details on the case. Exactly what happened at the Hinamizawa Dam? They probably didn't mean to kill him at first, but as the victim resisted by swinging around a shovel, the rest of the perpetrators armed themselves in return and it quickly escalated to homicide. So said the aforementioned Investigator A. After this bloody tragedy was over, they were left with a body which nobody could have mistaken as alive. X-san had tormented the suspects daily with his rough behavior. At first it was meant to be payback. All the perpetrators were horrified by their deed, and one even turned himself into the police. It was the de facto leader of this group, XX, who suggested hiding the body. Reluctantly at first, they soon began to think they do not wish to be caught. The construction site had numerous places to hide the body with 6 people. They were originally supposed to hide the body and leave the area. But the de facto leader feared that the consciences of the other 5 wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and came up with a horrifying method to keep them from turning him into the police. He devised the heinous method of splitting up the body among them and making each of them responsible for hiding a piece. XX had turned a simple manslaughter into a gruesome dismemberment and forcibly involved each perpetrator in order to create a sense of unity between them. Each one participated, but what does this mean? Person A spoke out reluctantly. He had ordered each and every one of them to dissect a piece for themselves. They were hesitant at first, but nobody refused. In for a penny, in for a pound, was what it meant. Thus, an unimaginable, bloody ceremony began. The perpetrators wept and vomited as they performed the gruesome task. There was one person who stubbornly refused, but he threatened them, saying nothing would change if someone else ended up dead, and he gave up on his objections. But his plans collapsed in the span of one night. So-and-so, who had refused to dissect the corpse up until the last moment, had broken down into tears at the hospital where he was being treated for an injury sustained during the scuffle and confessed. The criminals were arrested one after another, but the de facto leader's whereabouts were still unknown. Also, the right arm hidden by them has yet to be found. Despite an ongoing search, this horrible individual has so far managed to elude law enforcement. What could the police be doing? It appears that so-and-so said that he was going to throw the body into the swamp. His car was discovered abandoned near the swamp, but there were no clues to his whereabouts. He didn't trust his companions. One cannot deny the possibility that he had expected his companions to confess to the police and used his car as a decoy. Of course, I doubt that theory. Since he has no car, one would expect him to have a limited area to which he could have escaped to. But within the station, there were rumors going around that he had accidentally slipped and drowned in the swamp when he went to throw away the body. To the locals, the swamp is believed to be bottomless. It's known as Onikakushi, the demon's abyss, and it is said that the bottom of the swamp is connected to the hellish world of demons. The atrocious demon from hell that was him. Could it be that he had returned to hell through the swamp? The Zijin Dragon, bringer of luck and fortune. Prosperous future. Ladies leaping into your arms. Business success. Promotions. Ambition. Protection from harm. Not just with pachinko and horse races, but business and even love. Guaranteed or your money back. Zijin Dragon Bracelet DX. One piece. 27,800 yen. It really is like you're reading some tabloid from the fucking like 80s or 90s. Like God, what's the name of that other? Well, there was a very famous one. Hold on. Or very infamous one. I think it was, no, god damn it, what was the name of this fucking, not the Inquirer, but that's one of them. I know Weird Al did a parody of one. It was called Midnight Star, and it was supposed to be a parody of a bunch of magazines, like the supermarket tabloids, right? That's what they were. There were, God, there's so many, but yeah, National Enquirer is one of them. The Globe, almost forget about that one. Star, it was just Star. Like that was just the name of the magazine. Like Star, The Sun, Weekly World News. Jesus fuck. Yeah, so stuff like that. It's like you're reading one of those in the supermarket, and then you get to the next page, and it's an ad. That happens in gaming magazines as well. I mean, if you ever read those back in the day, like Game Informer and the like, you'd be reading some review on like Lara Croft's like Tomb Raider 3, and then you get an ad for like, you can win your own pinball machine at home. And then here's how you can enter. Or like one of those like one of those contests that they would run where they're like you and your family of 3 can win a trip to Hawaii and do this and this and this. It's like, and then you can have your own like Nintendo like Superstar Tropical Vacation, something stupid like that. Anyway, let's continue. We did pretty well. We got through like one chapter in an hour, which isn't too bad. The function of this school as an educational facility is very questionable. Our PE class is exceptionally disorganized. The only things we do together are the warm-ups at the start. The teacher isn't even there after that. All we do is just play together.
仕方ないじゃん。年齢も性別もバラバラだし。
No, and I guess since it is a new sprite. Oh. It did
じゃ
finish.
あね、体育の時間は校庭で体を動かすのだけが決まりなの。
Let's try it again. There we go. So that's the console art. And then... Oh. Oh god, this looks fucking terrible. This looks so fucking bad. Why does she look like that? God. Holy fuck, that's like the scariest thing I've seen so far. Oh yeah, I remember that one where Yeah, the Pepsi one where you could win a fighter jet. Didn't the guy sue them because he won and they didn't give him the fighter jet? And then they had to like, what happened? I remember reading about that specifically. It was something like legal had to get involved, and then they were like, well, you can't legally own a fighter jet, and then he had to prove that he could, and then Pepsi had to like pay out or something. Yeah, the only one was, yeah. All the little kids were gallivanting about. Well, they certainly are being active. They might be getting, they certainly are being active. They might be getting plenty of exercise, but...
きっと教育委員会はこの学校を見落としてるんだろうな。
お待たせしましたです。
And then these two gremlins. So that's what they look like. Ugh. This is so creepy, man. This is so fucking weird. God, I hate this art style. Ugh.
さてご一同様、今日の体育は何をいたしましょう。
おっしゃ、これでいつものメンバー全員集合だな。
さて委員長、今日は一体どんな体育をやるのかな。
Mion harumped and crossed her arms haughtily, surveying the area.
瞬発力と持久力。スポーツの世界においては仲間などいない。すべてがライバル。信じられるのは己の肉体のみ。
なんだそりゃ、漫画の読みすぎだろ。
I quipped without missing a beat.
てわけで、温故知新。古いながらもすべての要素を詰め込んだ屋外乱戦の王様、鬼ごっこでいこう。
She was gonna say fucking like wrestling or something. It was quite the adorable choice to make after playing it up so much.
望むところですわ。のろまな圭一さんは家の一番に鬼ですの。僕だって負けませんです。レナも頑張るもの。今日は負けないぞ。
なんでお前らそんなにやる気満々なんだよ。
快速第3条、ゲームは絶対に楽しく参加しなければならない。
じゃあこれ部活なのかよ。
Everyone smirked at each other. They all seemed pretty confident. I'm a man. Physically, I should be able to keep up with any girls my own age. Regardless, Mion and Satoko looked like they were aiming for victory, and Rena was looking at me as if pitying my disadvantage.
上等だぜ。鬼ごっこ。乗ってやるー。
My yell echoed across the school grounds. There were the rules. Anyone who was able to evade being tagged before the bell was a winner. But we didn't switch who was it. The ones who were tagged by it also became it. So the number of people who were it could increase exponentially. The endgame would become a hellish siege.
ここいらではこの遊びのことゾンビ鬼って呼んでるけどね。
なるほど。食われたやつがゾンビ化するからな。
なんでそんな怖いこと言うんだろう。
レナを捕まえたら生きたままお腹を食い破ってやるからな。
やだよ圭一くん、そんなのや。
Rika-chan placed her hand on Rena's head as she panicked.
大丈夫です。圭一に食われる前に僕が優しく食べてあげますです。リカ、それは全然慰めになってませんわ。
Both Mion and I nodded deeply.
最初の鬼、ゾンビはどうやって決める？じゃんけんか？
一応授業時間だからね。問題で決めよう。問題を出すから答えられなかったやつがゾンビ。
I have no idea which grade level they're coming from.
6は英語で。
Roku? Like the number? Huh? I was bewildered by the sudden question. Unless they mean like... Well, we'll see. Mion repeated it.
だから 答えるの。6は英語で。
Roku in English. Ah, well, that's just 6.
6だ。
なら靴下は。
そした。
ソックスだね。
アルファベットの後ろから3つ目。
X ですよ。
では性別は英語で。
性別。
もちろんわかりますわ。それは
I know what it is. And then her face immediately afterwards. Satoko cut herself off before finishing the answer. I see. It's quite a lewd question.
さとこは大人だもんね。知らないわけはないよね。
知ってますもの。知ってるもん。
じゃあ言ってごらんよ。あれだよ、あれ。あれは英語で。
はあ、さとこちゃん困ってる。かわいい。
Oh yeah, how does this one look? So it's still the same, just a change in outfit, and then we skip that one.
持ち帰るなよ。犯罪だからな。
If I didn't nip it in the bud, she really might have tried to take her home. Neon's pursuit was relentless, making Satoko stammer.
さあさあさあ言ってごらんよ、大声で。あれは英語で何という。
知ってるもん。知ってるもん。知ってるもん。だからザットですよ、ザット。は。
All of us were a bit surprised by Rika-chan's unexpected answer. I see. Well, it certainly is what that means. That could have been awkward. I wonder what it could have what I would have done in Satoko's position. I'd probably get ticked off and just blurt out, you know what, at the top of my lungs. I wouldn't want you as an enemy, Mion Sonozaki. Thank goodness you were born a girl. If you were a boy, you'd probably be a perverted asshole.
仕方ありませんわね。不詳、この北条さと子がゾンビ役を務めさせてもらいますわ。食い殺してやりますですな。
Seems like she's raring to go.
100数えればいいんですの。
100数えるのはズルするやつがいるからな。俺の問題が解けたら追ってよし。
圭一くん、簡単なのにしてあげてね。
5分の1のケーキと6分の1のケーキと7分の1のケーキを一皿に乗せました。
分母が違いますですの。
Satoko grabbed a stick in a panic and began drawing a cake with fractions on the
ケー
ground.
キ1個を60秒で食べられるサトコがそれを全部食べるとお皿にはケーキがいくつ残っているでしょう。
Just as I finished giving the word problem, Mion shouted,
よーい、ドン。
"Oh, that bass line is so good." Oh, and then it just gets even better. On Mion's signal, everyone but Satoko scattered.
圭一くん、それ問題じゃないよね。
Satoko had already lost the moment she started working it out. She's eating it all, so of course there's nothing left on the plate. Everyone dashed off in a direction they thought was best. Knowing the lay of the land, they probably headed right to the best spots. It was obvious I was at a disadvantage. At a time like this, it would have been more effective to go along with those trained in survival skills, like Mion, for example. The fact that I didn't realize it at the start of the game probably hurt my chances. Glancing back over to the school grounds, I saw Satoko just rising up to start. She was really, really mad. She got tripped up on such a dumb question. I stood at one of the corners of the school. I had clear sightlines in two directions. I had clear sightlines in two directions and would probably have a good response time if any zombies started closing in. For the time being, I caught my breath and focused on what I was trained to think during club activities yesterday. Now think calmly, Keiji. If I was it, what would I do? Increasing my numbers would be the shortcut to victory. Then going after the weakest player first is the obvious plan of attack. Meaning, me.
さて圭一さんはどこでございましょう。逃がしませんことよ。
But of course, what would be the best method to track me down? Footprints or smell or maybe some type of trail? If I could if I could craftily hide my tracks, then there would be no trail for Satoko to follow. But I was no detective. Would I even be able to do that kind of thing in an amateur game like this?
岡村、圭一さんを見かけなかったでございませんこと？
But what the heck? Do zombies hunt their prey by asking nicely where they went? Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun pointed to the location where I was hiding. After confirming she was headed in this direction, I abandoned my position. It wasn't easy to hide myself with all those little kids running around as they pleased. It was becoming even more obvious that I was at a disadvantage from not being familiar with these surroundings. If that's how it was gonna be, then to confront this intelligence-gathering zombie, I'd just counter it with a similar vein. I'd approach some girls playing with a ball.
すまんが伝言を頼まれてくれ。北条聡子にご両親が校門に来てるぞってな。
伝言いいよいいよ。
I stopped the girls as they turned to run off.
待て、まだ行くな。あと園崎美音にもだ。先生が校門のところで呼んでるぞって伝えてくれ。
I'm quite the schemer if I do say so myself. If things went well, then Satoko and Mion would run into each other at the gate. It would put me at a disadvantage if more people were it, but this was Mion we were talking about. She'd figure out a way to escape. But that was just fine. As long as it brought me more time. Jeez. Dance for me, Mion and Satoko. In the palm of my hand. Having my fill of playing the con man, I looked for a place to hide. If you think about it logically, I'd only bought myself a scant amount of time, and it might even come back to bite me. Once it became apparent I'd started spreading false information through messengers, I could end up being the recipient of one of those messages. Satoko would probably ask the messengers to help her look for me. That would mean there were more zombies than participants in the game. The virus that was brought about by my mischief could cause an epidemic. Oh no, not again. All my classmates would transform into zombies and would only be searching for me. This tactic might backfire horribly. While trembling at the thought of the impending dawn of the dead, I began searching for a safe house. I found a shed by the incinerator behind the school. After climbing up to the roof, I held my breath. It wasn't a bad place to hold out. Not only did I have a good line of sight, but if necessary, I could jump off in 3 directions to escape. It was getting rowdy down there. The lower grades were running around below the shed.
いないね、前原さん。そっちいた？いない。圭一さんどこだろう？お父さんが校門に来てるのにね。
That was definitely a lie. The word gate is the same one I used. Gave a hint of revenge. Sorry, the word gate, the same one I'd used gave a hint of revenge, so Mion was behind this. I was still keeping one step ahead of the game. I felt bad for my underclassmen, but they'd have to search until the school bell.
ねえねえ、圭一さん知らない？お母さんが急病で大変なんだって。前原さんに伝言だよ。家が火事だから急いで校門に来いって。前原さん家にジャンボ機が墜落したらしいよ。警察が事情聴取に来てるって言ってた。
Anything goes now.
趣味は抱き枕のコレクションなんだって。
Huh?
夜な夜なベッドで抱きながら寝てるって本当なの？
Who are they talking
ふ
about?
にふにの柔らかい感触がたまんないって。
No way I would do that.
委員長の写真貼り付けたのもあるらしいよ。へえ。
This was your doing, Mion. Calm down, Keiichi. This is Mion's battle tactic to flush me out. Just hold on. If my underclassmen thought about it logically, they would know it's all nonsense. But small kids don't think about things logically. To them, all of those things were true, so they chuckled together while looking for me. I win, Mion. It's my victory. Wiping unrelenting tears away, I felt intoxicated by my own
聞
victory.
いた？転校生の前原さんって二次元萌えの人なんだって。
The cost of beating Mion had too high a price. Ha. Oh, someone passed below. It's Rena and Rika-chan.
リカちゃんはまだ無事かな？なんとか頑張ってますです。みーちゃんも鬼になっちゃったみたいなの。
Mion? It couldn't be. She'd become it because of my little strategy? This confirmed that Mion was behind this relentless message war. Then, this wasn't good.
みーちゃんはなんとか巻いたけど、さとこちゃんは。さとこは土管のところを探してますから、ここはしばらくは安全ですよ。
Upon hearing that, I breathed a sigh of relief. While Rena was slumped on the ground, breathing heavily, Rika-chan had started creeping up to her. Rika-chan doesn't normally make noise when she walks, but it's strange. It couldn't be.
リカちゃん？何かな？何かな？大丈夫ですよ。
I'd never seen Rika-chan smile so creepily before.
なんで近寄ってくるのかな？来るのかな？リカちゃんはゾンビじゃないもんね。怖くないです。僕が優しく食べてあげますです。嘘だよね。リカちゃんがそんな。
Rena was pressed against the wall, and Rika-chan lurched forward with both arms, just like a zombie. Rena quaked with her back pushed up against the wall. It was quite a surreal scene of horror. Like one of those zombie breakout videos you'd see. At that moment, Rena's eyes met mine. Zombie Rika-chan turned 180 degrees, exorcist style, and glared at me. Oh my god.
ケイちゃん見っけ。
Mion popped out from behind the cinder block wall around the garbage dump, also seeing where I was. My position was only advantageous when there was one zombie. Being surrounded was not good.
ケイチさんを見つけたですって？
I could tell that Satoko was rushing my way. It seemed that Rika-chan had let Rena escape, and now she was burying her fangs in my direction. Or her little fang.
降りてこい。ケイちゃん。
The three zombies circled the shed, moaning curses.
お前ら怖い。怖すぎる。
ケイチさんの腹渡はどんな味がするのかしら？ケイチさん。ケイチも僕たちの仲間になってほしいです。
Oh no.
誰か助けてくれ。
I saw Rena apologizing to me from across the schoolyard. An apology. Sorry. Leaving me for dead? Rena! I leapt off the roof out of fear, slipping as I landed. Satoko and Rika jumped on top of me, and after straddling me, they tickled me all over my body.
やべ。
ってことはあとはレナか。チャイムまであと何分もないね。
のれんレナ、よくも俺を見殺しに。
The feelings of a zombie. I understood how vengeful ghosts with lingering regrets felt.
かわいそかわいそです。でもこれでケイイチも仲間ですよ。
It felt like I'd been bitten by a vampire and was now one of their thralls. Oh my god. It was a strange feeling, being welcomed over to the side that had pursued me.
ゾンビ鬼、なかなか奥深し。
気取ってる場合じゃありませんわ。レナさんを捕まえるのですな。
校長が廊下を歩いてる。もうすぐチャイムが鳴るよ。
To devour Rena. Jesus. I, who had been turned into a demon of vengeance, needed to use any means necessary. Except, I wasn't just a zombie. I was a master of the night, a vampire. Using the same trick that had tightened the noose around my own neck, I used my classmates to further my evil designs. I gathered up the low grades from around the school grounds.
みんな聞いてくれ。レナが大変なんだ。今すぐレナを探し出してくれ。
前原さん家にジャンボ機が落っこちたことより大変なの？
Oh yeah, it had turned into that, hadn't it? My god. Mion whistled nonchalantly, trying to avoid the blame.
ああ、ジャンボ機なんか目じゃないぞ。レナン地に墜落したのはなんと小惑星だ。
No, Shaw! How dare you?
小惑星ですって？
It's Gundam now.
ああ、宇宙人が作った装置でロシの限界を解除し、まず1個落としたらしい。
Operation British.
まさか俺もそこまでやるとは思わなかった。
Shut the fuck up, dude.
しかも続いて今度は100個も。地球軍の完全な誤算だ。
This is the beginning, the start of the war for independence by the propagandapality of Xeon. Holy fuck. No way they believe this, right? The lower grades were dumbfounded, their eyes like saucers at the grand turn of events.
地球軍って？
Nope.
私たち宇宙人と戦争でもしてるんですか？
このままでは地球は壊滅だ。しかしレナなら、レナの放つ音速のマッハレなパンチなら小惑星を全て迎撃することができる。そう、地球軍のトップエース、それがリュウグウレナなのだ。
The lower grade students all gulped. It seemed that made them fully understand that the fight for the Earth was lost without Rena.
さあチェ、どうし諸君、レナを探し出すのだ。
My comrades in the lower grades let out an enthusiastic cheer and dashed off in various directions around the school grounds. There was still one person who hadn't
でも
gone.
たとえレナさんでも月を押し戻すことなんてできるんでしょうか？
Uh-oh.
心配無用だ。
That's the white variety of those
つい
comets.
先日もレナは地球に激突するはずの水星爆弾を一つ弾き飛ばしている。小惑星の100個や200個くらい音速を超える高速のパンチで一撃だ。
リュウグウさんってすごいんだ。
Satisfied with that, she also rushed off to look for Rena. It doesn't seem like There are some promising up-and-comers amongst the youngsters.
ケイちゃんの才能をおじさんは改めて知ったよ。
It didn't really feel like she was complimenting me, but whatever.
しかし圭一さんもやるでございますわね。これは頼もしいですわ。
でもこの人数なら勝てる。これだけいれば勝てるよ。
圭一はゾンビに立候補した方が良かったと思いましたです。
Rika-chan's words stung a bit, but I let it slide for now. It would have been cool if the background song changed a little bit to like Gallant Char's theme or something. Not even Rena would be able to escape the entire class. As a result of everyone's thorough search, Rena was finally cornered in the back of the sports equipment shed.
怖いよみんな。圭一くんまで怖いよ。
It probably was scary being chased around by the entire student body. All the lower grades closed in on Rena, saying she was the only one who could save the world.
みんなが何を言ってるのかわかんないよ。レナはパンチで小惑星なんか破壊できないよ。
レナ、さっきはよくも見捨てたな。
That's what all Gundam pilots say. No way I could pilot this war machine. And then they like can do it instinctively.
覚悟はできてるだろうな。
Unless you're Amuro and you read the manual.
さっきはごめんね圭一くん。だって仕方なかったんだもん。おとなしく食い尽くされるでございますの。みんなで仲良しですよ。
さあレナ、念仏でも唱えな。
Rena had stumbled onto a mat, trembling with tears in her eyes. I closed in. Associating the situation with a similar, particularly immoral one made my pulse quicken just a bit. Satoko and Rika-chan were both wiggling their fingers. They probably wanted to tickle Rena. Rena, wanting no part of what she knew was about to happen, went stiff with fear.
圭一くんはみんなみたいなひどいことしないよね。しないよね。
さあどうかな。さて覚悟は決まったかな。
いいよ圭一くんなら。
Oh my god. The face she made as she resigned herself to her fate made my heart skip a beat.
圭一くんはひどいことしないってレナ信じてるし。
Body won't move. That had to be some sort of anti-zombie mantra. The second my sense of reason chimed in, the beast inside me died instantly. That was the bell. Game over.
やったやった生き残ったよ。わーいわーい。
Rena pranced around merrily as if a curse had been broken.
あとわずかのところで日光が差し、ヒロインが生き残るのは映画のお約束だもんな。
何を気取ってるのですの。圭一さんがもたもたしてるから。お仕置きしますです。
I was subdued by Satoko and Rika-chan, once again sentenced to death by 100 tickles.
許して。
じゃあ生き残ったでしょうは竜宮レナと園崎ミオン。イエイ。
Mion?
あれみーちゃんゾンビじゃなかったの。
ふりしてただけ。敵を騙すには味方からって言うじゃん。
Oh my god.
ミオンてめ
はいはい急いで着替えないとね。次の授業に遅れんなよ。
は リカちゃん。いや
Having had my fill of being terrified to my very core by club activities, I solemnly swore I would have Mion crying for mercy next time. I still can't get over this pose. Like, she looks like a literal goblin. Like a fucking gremlin that would crawl out of your bed and would just stare at you with that face, with that fang sticking out. Yeah, Amuro is a little bit of a freak, but I mean, he was reading back in an era where people would actually read, which is why it's fine. He would read in the far-off year of 0079. Which I believe was like 2013 or something. Oh no. Fighting for Sadoko's affection. After arriving home, I quickly made preparations to head out once again. I had agreed to meet with Rena to dig Colonel Sanders out of that mountain of treasure from before.
母さん、うちに軍手ってあるかな。あとタオル。
表の物置の中になかった？タオルは洗面所ね。
Alright, now I was all ready. Looking at me, my mom stared quizzically.
何ケイチ？すごいいでたちでどこへお出かけ？
If they come to dump again illegally, he'll be buried completely and it'll be impossible to dig him out. And if that happens, Rena will undoubtedly go after the Colonel Sanders in front of the fried chicken place now.
ちょっと発掘に。クラスメートを犯罪者にしないために。
はあ？あまり遅くならないようにね。
Huh? Okay, well, it'll be out late. Mom returned to the kitchen with a puzzled expression still on her face. Cutting through the woods as a shortcut to the dam site, I ran into someone. It was Tomitaka-san. Probably taking pictures of wild birds with that precious camera of his. It couldn't be that all he took pictures of was handsome young men in the twilight. Jeez. It couldn't be that all he took pictures of was handsome young men in the twilight. That needs a comma somewhere. After the of.
いやー久しぶり。
Hey. Yeah.
ケイイチ君だったよね。
どうもその説は。
My two regards. I expelled the rude imagery from my head and greeted him without inciting anything.
そういえば彼女は君の知り合いだよね。
He was probably talking about Rena. Guessing by the way Tomitaka-san was shaken up.
あれは一体何だったんだい。彼女が不気味のナタを持って歩いてるんだよ。それもニヤニヤと笑いながら。
That was Rena without a doubt. I expect that she was grinning in anticipation of taking Colonel Randy home. Randy?
身に危険を察して隠れたけど、警察に電話した方がいいんじゃないかな。
Well, it certainly would be quite the spectacle for a girl of her age to be roaming around with a hatchet. Tomitaka-san's reaction was the epitome of logic.
いいんです、いいんです。ほっといてください。また犠牲者を探して徘徊しているだけですから。
Tomitaka-san was alarmed by my crass response. Well, it's probably hard for normal people to understand, Rena. I'll just toss out a bunch of baloney.
富武さんがここで殺されたら、多分犯人はあいつです。せいぜい嗅ぎ回らないようにすることですね。
With a condescending smirk, I started off in the direction of the dam site where Rena was waiting. Before I got too far, Tomitaka-san abruptly called out to me.
ケイイチ君、それよそ者の僕への警告のつもりかい？
Oh my god. I didn't mean it that seriously. I did try to make it obvious, but...
せいぜい気をつけることにするよ。
Leaving only those words behind, Tomitaka-san turned around and left. I didn't really mean to call him an outsider. I wasn't really implying anything when I said that. It was only meant to be a joke, but it felt like I'd said something bad. Just tell him, Keiichi, he's still there. Like, just go up to him and be like, look, it was a joke. Like, Rena is weird, and she needs my help to get something out of the dump. We needed a hatchet for it, and that's about it. And she's in her white outfit again. This one. Ugh. Ugh. Even if it's on screen for a second, it makes me cringe. Although I will say they look better when they have their eyes closed. Like this. Because then you don't see the fucking weird ass eyes that they gave them. I understood what Tomitaka-san was trying to say. Somebody gallivanting about while waving a hatchet around certainly would seem dangerous.
ナタは鞘とかをかぶせて持ってこい。むきみはさすがにまずいだろ。
なくしちゃったみたいで、ないんだもん。
Thinking about it, there really was no need to try to keep up appearances. Everyone in Hinamizawa probably already knew about Rena's eccentricities. She's probably the only person who would carry a hatchet around Hinamizawa and not be considered suspicious.
まあいっか。今日で決めるぜ。
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with the pachinko art either, because again, like the console one is fine. You know, this is kind of closer to the anime, but it still looks like an updated version of the original models, right? It doesn't look bad. It looks like something from 2006, 2008, which is fine. But then we get this. What the fuck is this, dude? Like, there's gremlins, there's goblins, and then we have this shapeshifter, this doppelganger. Like look at her eyes. Like you have soul, you have, you know, charm, and then you have this. Ugh. It's weird.
最後の針をぶっ壊せば引きずり出せるはずさ。準備万端。任せとけ。
I took an axe from Rena and made my way up the unstable slope.
待っててね、健太くん。
The main difference is like in the art styles, because they clash so badly. That and the eyes are what really make them stand out. It's more noticeable on the other characters that have like different colored eyes, like purple or red. You can see them look completely fucking different. Ugh. And if you look at like the 2006 anime or 2008 anime, whatever it came out, whenever it came out, like the characters look super different.
今ケイチくんが助け出してくれるからね。
よっしゃ下がってな。一気にケリをつけてやるぜ。
A solid thwack ran throughout Hinamizawa, as if the job was being done by a lumberjack.
どう？うまくいきそう？無理そうだったら無理しなくていいよ。
ここさえ折れればあとはなんとかなる。今日は気力も充実。いける！
But this adversary was more formidable than I expected. First of all, I'd never used a hatchet before. During a school camping trip, I had wanted to split the wood, but I lost at rock, paper, scissors and wasn't able to do it. Because the spot where I was standing was so unstable, I soon became tired and decided to take a break. I'm sure Rena probably knows how to handle the hatchet a lot better. Considering that she might have needed to split wood at some point in her life, right? Rena had already spread out a trap and laid down some tea and sweets. Well, a tarp.
大丈夫。もう一息。今夜レナが寝るときには健太くんにお休みのキスができるようになってるさ。
休みのキス。
ありがとう、健太くん。おやすみのキス。
そういえばレナも転校生だったんだろ。前はどこに住んでたんだよ。
I asked her nonchalantly while drinking tea. I thought she'd lived here all her life.
お、関東の方だよ。 ここほどじゃないけどやっぱり田舎だったかな。
なんで引っ越してきたんだよ、ひなみ沢に。ほら、ここって結構田舎だろ。
ケイチ君はなんで引っ越してきたの？
Way to answer a question with a question.
お父さんの仕事と関係あるのかな？
That's so rude.
うちの親父がアトリエを移したいって言い出したんだよ。こういう山奥がいいって前々から言っててさ。
アトリエ？ケイチ君のお父さんって芸術家さんなの？
風景画ばっかり描いてる。年に2回くらいはどっかで個展を開いてるらしい。
When he started, his works were displayed in an industry plaza in Tokyo, but now they're exhibited in the Makuhari Messa, or Messa. He's determined to have them displayed in the Waterfront International Exhibition Hall.
それってすごいね。今度レナにも見せてね。
I was too embarrassed to tell her that I didn't really know what kind of pictures my father painted. Well, eventually I would. I picked myself up while giving some vague answers.
でも楽器途中の転校だったんでしょ？大変じゃなかった？
別に。都会ってのには飽きてたし。
I was trying to get answers from Rena, but I ended up being the one giving out all the answers. With a bit of a wry smile on my face, I grabbed the handle of the hatchet and headed back to the worksite. The air grew colder as the sun slowly set. The Higurashi began their song as if to tell me to stop and head home for the day. Just a bit more. Today, I would end it. When I first started, I chatted with Rena as I worked, but now I didn't have that luxury.
ほらてめえちくしょう
I had swung the hatchet countless times today just like this. Contact. Shards of wood splintered. The assailant butchered the victim's body with hatchets and pickaxes. I recall that passage from the tabloid. One hit with something like this would smash someone's head in. Axes and pickaxes were not meant to be swung at people, ever. That's right. They're meant for goblins. With one last swing, the beam cracked apart. The weight I put behind the hatchet not only split through the beam, but smashed the statue's shoulder as well. The arm came off with a sickening sound. It clattered down noisily, stopping at my feet.
Oh.
The missing arm.
どうしたの？大丈
ごめん。人形の腕壊しちゃったよ。
夫？なんだ、ケイチ君が怪我をしたんじゃないかって思っちゃった。
I probably had a really guilty look on my face. Rena said that without a hint of dismay as she
ガ
smiled.
ムテープとかでくっつけて、その上に上着を着せるもの。
Put a coat.
絶対わからないよ。
そっか。じゃあ引っ張り出そうぜ。
Or depending on the material, cement.
そっち持ってくれるか。
They still haven't found one of the arms. I laughed dryly at how pathetic I was for considering the arm flopping down and rolling to my feet to be such a bad omen. Both Rena and Mion knew how sickening that incident was. So they pretended that they didn't know. I had looked it up all by myself. And shamefully enough, I was scared.
情けないぜ、前原圭一。よっしゃ、レナ。一気に行くぞ。せーの。
やった！やったよ、ケイチ君！わーい！
The right time to give 3 cheers. That's that moment of 2 days of work bearing fruit. He who was brought to Hinamizawa covered in filth to meet his end. Instead, we were able to welcome him back. You're pretty lucky, Colonel Sanders. Your new master is a pretty decent person.
わー、ケンタ君だ。やっぱ可愛いよ。
It didn't matter that he was dirty, and I nuzzled him cheerfully with her cheek. I was dead tired, but seeing Rena's happy face made it all worth it.
じゃあ手伝うから持っていこうぜ。暗くなるとまずいだろう。
そうだね。ケイチ君、本当にありがとうね。
恩返しは何がいいかよく考えておくよ。
どんな恩返しだろう。恩返しだろう。
For now, I just hold back my evil cackle. We were ready to take it to her house, but we couldn't go like this. We rolled up the statue in the tarp and lifted him. And so Jack and Joe went down the hill, carrying a human-sized bag and an unsheathed hatchet. I prayed that we wouldn't run into Tomitake-san. If he saw us here and took a picture, we'll need to get rid of him. Lol. What the fuck? was that originally in the fucking visual novel? Or was it like a W in Japanese? Like, did they actually just keep that keep that there? Is that meant to be a warning for an outsider like me? Something struck me as odd about the words Tomitake-san, unable to grasp my sense of humor, had left behind. Oh. What kind of name is Rena? Okay. We can quickly view that one.
Rena がいないです。圭一は知りませんですか？
あれ、たった今までそこにいたのにな。おいミオ、レナはどこ行ったんだ？
レナ？お手洗いじゃない？覗きたいなら止めないけど通報するからね。
I hadn't heard anything about
さ
that.
とこ、レナを知りませんですか？レナさんですの？さっき廊下ですれ違いましたよ。レナさんは日直だから花壇にお水をやらないといけませんので。
ああ、レナが日直か。そりゃお疲れ様なことで。
Rena, Rena, Rena. Upon hearing it repeated, a thought came to my mind. It's rude to say this about someone's name, but it was a weird name. It was like some foreigner's name.
レナってどういう名前なんだろうな。レナって漢字だとどうなるんだ？
レナはあだ名なのです。ちゃんとした名前がありますですよ。
え、そうなのか？俺はてっきり竜宮レナってのが本名だと思ってたよ。
まあ確かにレナさんとしか呼んでませんから間違えるのも無理はないですわね。
She even signs her name as Rena. It's like it's her real name in school.
本当の名前はなんて言うんだろうな。レナが戻ってきたら聞いてみるかな。
Satoko and Rika-chan looked at each other.
聞かなくてもいいですよ。僕たちが教えてあげますです。お礼の礼にならのな。竜宮レーナが本名ですのよ。
Reina Ryugu. Let's see. If you open the mod menu, you'll see a setting called Voice Matching Level that determines how much gets censored out. 0 is the full original script, and 5 is most censored. I mean, we can quickly check. So, Voice Matching Level. Let's see. It's probably not in graphics, but probably in audio. No. Gameplay. Ah, here we go. Huh. Well, let's stick to 0 then. I did not know that was a thing. Swapping things out. On the fly. Reina instead of Rena. That's quite interesting.
それでレイナじゃなくてレナって読むのか？面白い読み方だよな。
Thanks for the tip, by the way.
いいえ、違いますです。レイナで正しいのです。レナさんが言ったのですわ。レナと呼んでほしいって。だからレナさんなのですわ。
ケイちゃん、レナはレナだよ。レーナって呼ぶのは他人だけ。そこんとこ分かってるよね。
I understood what Mion was saying. It didn't matter what her real name was, only what names we used between us. Rena Ryugu is Rena. She's nobody other than that.
思ったんだけどさ、自己申請すれば俺も今日からあだ名で呼ばれるのか？
面白けりゃね。なんて呼ばれたいわけ？
越後屋。
God. Rena then came back into the classroom. One of the juniors near the door told Rena people were looking for her.
あれあれ、誰かレナのことを探してたかな
Seeing that both Mion and I sneered.
お代官様、竜宮めがまんまと現れましたぞ。
いちごや、主も悪よな。
God, man. Jesus fuck, what a title.
何かなケイチ君とみーちゃんが悪代官だよ。いちご屋だよ。
おのれ竜宮レナノスケ、ここであったが100年目でおじゃる。いざ覚悟。
スケさん、カクさん、こらしめてやりなさい。あやいさですわ。
This one.
報酬はスイス銀行に入れてほしいのです。
Since it's come to this, we have no choice. We'll just have a grand battle with 5 people. Rena's fierce punches exploded just as soon as she had shown her seal. God, so many S's. As soon as she had shown her seal. Holy fuck, dude. The evil that was Mion and myself was vanquished in the
レ
end.
ナにはぜひ世直しの旅に出てもらいたいもんだ。永田町なんかどうだ？
For real.
ダメだよ。旅先で買い物ちょろまかすから。
The toll of the bell signaled that break time was over.
ほらほら、ケイチ君もみーちゃんも先生来るよ。
I took Rena's hand and stood up. It was just as the teacher had entered the classroom. Just one more hour. Man, oh man. Gotta buckle down for one more. God, I remember that fucking feeling in high school. That shit sucked. Alright. But you know what? I think we got pretty far. I think this might be a good stopping point as well.